you can't get from the valley below, where the milk quit the town and the rivers run dry. I've no tears left to cry. I've no tears left to cry. Thank you. I think we should give our sound person a hand. She's worked so hard today. Thank you. I've twisted, turned, and I've run. And I've done things for which I'm ashamed. Once a maker of kings, now a pawn in a game. I've long since quit leveling the blame. Another sun drops in the western sky, and I turn to face coming of the night. What's a May? It's a long road ahead till the rim of the day. I've no tears left to cry. I've no tears left to cry. When the morning breaks, I'll be whole again. Cracks in my soul patched with gold. There's a taste on my tongue, good things to come. Moving on, I'll be traveling light. Got it. Moving on, I'll be traveling light.
Good morning. Whether you are here in person or watching at home, it is good to be with you this morning. It is good for all of us to be together. This morning is a special one at UUFR because this morning we are celebrating Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is an annual celebration of African American culture that lasts 7 days from December 26th to January 1st, which means that today is the third day of Kwanzaa. It was created by activists Dr. Malana Karenga, based on African harvest festival traditions from various parts of East, West, and South Africa. It was first celebrated in 1966. This is the second year that we're having a Kwanzaa celebration at UUFR. We are so happy this morning to welcome Donna Washington back to UUFR as our guest speaker this morning. Donna is internationally known, multiple award-winning storyteller, spoken word recording artist, and author.
We had hoped to have a drummer here as well, and unfortunately they were not able to join us, but we are in super duper luck because not only do we have Donna Washington, who I happened to go to church with before I was here, but Donna brought her very good friend Eric Bannon along, who wrote our closing hymn, and he is now our guest musician. We are very grateful to have two Unitarian Universalists from Chapel Hill joining us to bring a lot of their gifts.
Come, my friends, with our hearts open to both the challenges and possibilities that this new day and new week bring, with our hearts to all that inspires, sustains, redeems, and transforms us. Come, let us worship together.
Okay, so we begin this morning because we're celebrating Kwanzaa with the pouring of libations. And basically, Kwanzaa is about family. And it's about all the people who came before us, who fought and struggled and worked so that we could have what we have now. So life is a relay race. You don't run it all by yourself and it's over. So this morning we're going to honor the people who have left us, to begin by calling our ancestors and our friends and loved ones to be with us in silence. But we're not going to be silent. We're going to call out their names. So the first libation I'm pouring is for anyone who has left us this last year. So I'm going to pour the libation, and after I pour it, I'm going to say the name of someone who has left my life in the last year, and everyone is invited to softly say the name of someone who has left them. So first, for those who have left us in the last year, thank you for all that you brought to us, and we honor you this morning. Angela Lloyd. For everyone who's left us in the last year, thank you for all that you gave us, and thank you for being with us this morning. My next libation is for all of those family members and grandparents and great-grandparents who have left us in the last years, and we wish to honor them this morning. Thank you for all that you gave us, for all that you worked for, and for all that you left in this world. Gwendolyn Yvonne. Topsy Lewis. Esther Hall. The last libation I pour are for those ancient ancestors that we do not remember, who did what they did so we could be here today. Thank you for all that you did, bringing us here today. We honor you. Thank you.
We're going to be doing This Little Light of Mine. I think it may be in your hymnal, or you can just sing along if you know it. I've got a. Oh, let's try that again. Oh, that sounds so good. Now, if you hear a harmony in your head, please go ahead and sing it by all means. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Ooh. Beautiful.
Important part of Kwanzaa is the lighting of Kwanzaa candles. The object that holds all of the candles is called a kinara. There are 7 candles altogether, each one representing one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. The black candle represents people of African heritage. The red candles represent struggles, and the green candles represent hopes. It's traditional to light candles on each night of Kwanzaa after sundown, but we are going to depart from this tradition this morning and light the first 3 candles now. Before we do, however, some of our children and youth are going to read all 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
The first principle of Kwanzaa is Kumoja, or unitaria, to strive for and to maintain unity in the family, community, nation and race. The second principle of Kwanzaa is Kujichagulia, or self-determination, to define and name ourselves, as well as to create and speak for ourselves.
The third principle of Kwanzaa is Ujima, or collective work and responsibility, to build and maintain our community and make our brothers and sisters and siblings' problems our problems, and to solve them together.
The fourth principle of Kwanzaa is
Ujama.
or cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, or other businesses, and to profit from them together. The fifth principle of Kwanzaa is
Nia.
or purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness.
The sixth principle of Kwanzaa is Kaumba, or creativity, to do always as much as we can in the way we can, in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it.
The seventh principle of Kwanzaa is Imani, or faith, to believe with all our hearts in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the right consciousness and victory of our struggle.
Will those of you here in person please stand as you are able to light the candles?
Yeah. You have to light the candles first, and then we do the chalice light.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Stand as you are able as we light our Kwanzaa candles.
All right, so what's in front of you is the welcoming table. The candles on the table are called the Mishima Saba. The Kinara is the candle holder. The bowl of fruits and vegetables, that's called Muhundi, and it represents the first fruits of the festival. The wooden chalice there is called the Kikombe Cha Umoja. It is the unity cup, and we would pass it all around, and we'd all drink out of it except COVID and flu. The corn on the table is called mazao, and it's representative of the children and new life. So that's what's on the Kwanzaa table.
Having lit our Kwanzaa candles, we are now going to also light our chalice, the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist tradition in which this congregation stands. If you have a chalice at home, I invite you to light it with me at this time.
Sorry about that.
Please join me in reciting our chalice lighting. As we kindle this flame, we recommit ourselves to nurturing the spirits of one another and the common good of the world we share. May the light of this flame be welcoming to all who seek a liberal religious home.
Please remain standing for opening hymn.
So our children in Chalice Chapel this month learned a hymn called Open the Window. It is actually a song, like a song from the islands off of Georgia that was created or inspired by, and Eric is going to lead us in a way that we can all sing it together with some body percussion.
There it is. Go.
Open the
Here we go. Open the window.
window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Mama and a papa fighting like snakes. Open the window, let the dove fly in.
Baby is crying like a heart gonna break. Open the window,
Let the dove fly in. Open the window, children.
That's it.
Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in.
Neighbors lock their doors, build their fences so high.
Open the window, let the dove fly in.
Don't see what to discover on the other side.
Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, children. Open the window now.
There we go.
Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in.
Borders round the country, borders round your mind.
Open the window, let the dove fly in.
The only border close to you is the border around your mind.
Open the window, let the dove fly in.
Español. Abran la ventana, niños. Abran la ventana ya. Abran la ventana, niños. Abran la ventana que entre la paloma. Abran la ventana que entre
la paloma.
All right.
Hi, my name is Alexa, and please forgive me. I'm a little bit under the weather as a gift from my child for Christmas. Got a cold. I am glad to serve as part of your worship team this morning. Whether you're a first-time visitor or a long-time member, I'd like to offer you a special welcome. Here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Raleigh, we are intentionally inclusive, liberally religious, and actively serving the common good of our shared world. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on your own religious journey, you are welcome here. I hope all of you will read through the chalice you received by email on Friday about everything happening here around UUFR, or check out the upcoming events section of our website. Our in-person social hour this morning will be downstairs in Founders Hall. Part of a traditional Kwanzaa celebration is to have Karamu, or Feast of Faith, on the 6th night of Kwanzaa. During social hour today, we won't have a traditional Karamu, but we do have several traditional Kwanzaa foods that we hope you'll enjoy. On your way to social hour, I invite you to stop by a table in the foyer to see some books and other merchandise that Donna has for purchase. I now invite you to meet and greet your neighbor.
Standing up, they wouldn't be able to see what she was holding on.
Oh, yeah. No,
That was.
you're totally fine.
It's not an emergency. It's not an emergency.
All good. All good. Donna, are you going to pull them back together? Or
I can if you'd like.
oh, yeah.
Friends, I invite you all to continue your conversations afterwards at our downstairs coffee hour / Karamu tasting event.
Well, I have to say, I love listening to you guys meet and greet each other. Everyone's telling each other stories, which is kind of what we do, right? Just when you want to get to know someone, what happened, you tell the story, what happened. Kwanzaa, we spend a lot of time telling stories. And we always encourage stories that come out of the African diaspora. This is a story from Brazil, which I learned from a wonderful storyteller named Antonio Rocha. I don't tell this story on stage normally. However, when I was thinking about stories for Kwanzaa, it's a great Kwanzaa story. And it is from North Africa, and it goes like this. Now in North Africa, we have the occasional drought, and the water holes dry up, and the rivers are small, and the animals are doing their best to find water. But then the rains come, and the water holes fill up, and the rivers are roaring, and the animals sleep well, knowing that they'll get up in the morning, and there will be enough water to drink. Now, one of the first animals that gets up early in the morning is chicken. And chicken got up and ran down the water. Down to the water he goes. And chicken was drinking. And now, you know, chickens are not quiet. And down he's there drinking. And then he gets into the water. And chicken was splashing and swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and swimming and doing the backstroke. Chicken was so busy swimming around, didn't notice crocodile come up out of the water. Now, crocodiles do not have to eat very often, but when the waters come and all the animals come down to drink, it's their perfect time because everyone has to come to drink. And so he's getting closer to chicken, and chicken was not paying any attention. Chicken was swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and doing the backstroke. So crocodile comes, opens that mouth really wide, and chicken says, "Good morning, brother." And crocodile is astonished. And he doesn't snap his jaw shut. He just sat there. Brother? Why would chicken call me brother? And while he was sitting there, chicken got to the edge and ran into the trees, and crocodile was flummoxed. I'm not Chicken's brother. I mean, if I'm Chicken's brother, that means Chicken is my sister. How can we be family? I have scales and Chicken has feathers. She's not my sister. But he couldn't get it out of his head, and he sank back into the water, and the rest of the animals came and they drank, and Crocodile was so distracted he didn't eat anybody. Well, the next morning, first thing, Chicken was up, down to the water. Chicken was drinking, and then, of course, got in the water. And if you know what Chicken was doing, you can do this part with me. You ready? Chicken was swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and doing the backstroke. That's fun, isn't it fun? And Crocodile, he'd been waiting. Chicken was back. He's going to eat Chicken this morning. That's right. Chicken is food, not family. He came up out of the water, opened up his mouth really, really wide, and Chicken looked up and said, "Well, good morning, brother." And again, Crocodile just froze. And Chicken swam to the side and went off, and Crocodile closed his mouth. Chicken called me brother again. I'm not Chicken's brother. Chicken walks on 2 legs. I walk on 4. We are not related. We have nothing in common. We are not family. But he couldn't get it out of his mind. I mean, it was just bothering him. Why would Chicken say that? He was just so stuck in his mind. He didn't eat anybody. All the animals came down to get something to drink. He wasn't paying any attention to them. He was too busy concentrating on this nonsense with Chicken. You know how that is, right? Hey, ever got something in your head, it just distracts you the rest of the day? Or like an earworm, music playing in your head, you can't make it go away. It was like that. Well, the next morning, Crocodile was ready. He was definitely going to eat Chicken. He was definitely going to do it. And of course, Chicken was there first thing in the morning. Drinking, and then in the water. And you know what he's doing, right? Do it with me. Here we go. Swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and doing the backstroke. And Crocodile came up out of the water. He opened up his mouth, and of course, Chicken said, "Good morning, brother." And this time, Crocodile was just through. He closed his mouth, but Chicken was already getting out of the water, but he wasn't letting Chicken get away. He swam over to the edge of the water and hauled himself up onto dry land and started chasing Chicken through the trees. Now, I don't know if you know this, but crocodiles are kind of fast on land, but they're not as fast as chickens. So Chicken got away, but Crocodile did not stop. He was looking for Chicken. He was going to settle this once and for all. We are not family. How could she say I'm her brother? She's not my sister. Well, he lost Chicken. But there was a chameleon hanging out in the trees. And the chameleon heard Crocodile coming through complaining and buzzing, and he said, "Crocodile, what's the problem?" And Crocodile said, "This Chicken! Every single morning, Chicken comes down to the water, and whenever I get ready to eat her, she calls me brother, which means Chicken is my sister, and we are nothing alike. We can't be family. Chicken has feathers. I have scales. Chicken has 2 legs, and I have 4. We aren't family. We're nothing alike." And Chameleon said, "Whoa. Well, you and Chicken, it doesn't matter if she has feathers and you have scales. It doesn't matter that she walks on 2 legs and you walk on 4. You both lay eggs. You're the same." Crocodile had not thought about that. He went back down to the water. Well, the next morning, Chicken came down to the water, and she drank, and she jumped in the water. One last time, here we go. She was swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and swimming and splashing and doing the backstroke. And Crocodile came up out of the water, and he said to Chicken, "Good morning, sister." And she said, "Well, good morning, brother." And from that day on, Chicken came down and swam and splashed and did the backstroke. And Crocodile swam around and made sure nobody bothered her, because that's what you do for family. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Rachel Upade, and I am pleased and honored to serve as a member of your board of directors. I'll be downstairs at social hour after the service. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, or talk to me about any concerns you may have, or just say hi. Everything we do at UUFR is only possible because of the generous financial support that so many of us provide. For those of you who have set up automated giving to UUFR, or who send in a check by mail every month, I'd like to thank you now for your generosity. If you'd like to make a contribution in person this morning, we invite you to bring it forward and put it in one of our offering plates. You may also give using one of the methods that will be on our screen shortly. Our offering will now be given and gratefully received. Thank you.
Hi, it's me again. I'm going to play a Brazilian folk song. It's in Brazilian Portuguese, and it's called O Menino e o Mar, and that means the little boy and the sea. And the chorus, Menino goes, Menino vem brincar no mar, o mar vem levar pajé menino. And what that means is, oh little boy, come play by the sea. Oh sea, come wash the feet of the little boy. So I invite you to close your eyes, and it's summer in Brazil right now. It's in the southern hemisphere. I would invite you to close your eyes and join me on the beach. Menino vem brincar no mar, o mar vem levar pajé menino. Menino vem brincar no mar, o mar vem levar pajé menino. Eu vi as ondas brincando de pega-pega, levar as águas do riacho cristalino. Eu vi menino vem brincar no mar, o mar vem levar pajé menino. Menino vem brincar no mar, o mar vem levar pajé menino. Menino vem brincar no mar, o mar vem levar pajé menino. as gaivotas vão fazendo suas rondas. O sol levanta, o vento leste me incendeia. O sol na praia voa amar a minha raia. O construiu seu castelo de areia. Menino, vem brincar no mar. O mar vem levar para ti, menino. Menino, vem brincar no mar. O mar vem levar para ti, menino.
So it's Kwanzaa time again. And as Alexa pointed out, it was created in 1966 by Maulana Karenge, and it is an activist festival. It's not a religious festival, it's not that kind of thing. It is activist. It was really created because throughout our history as Americans, we have celebrations that have really honored many of the immigrants that came here. For instance, we didn't celebrate anything when our country was officially put together, when we declared that we were the United States. Christmas is because of the Germans, Easter is because of the English, St. Patrick's Day, you know. So different immigrants came in, they had their celebrations, and those became what we celebrate here in America. But African Americans did not show up here. We were brought here. And somehow we just didn't get any of our, well, that's not true. Our music is the part of a lot of, music, a lot of our singing, a lot of our literature. But in terms of a festival or a holiday that celebrates the things that we brought to this country, we didn't have any. So he created it in 1966. And, when I talk about Kwanzaa, because I have been doing for years, I get the occasional pushback from people. And one of them is, it's a made-up holiday. Newsflash! There is no tree growing in someone's backyard with organic holidays on it. They're all made up. Somebody made them up. It's not that it's, organic. It's just that we've been doing some holidays longer than others. So Kwanzaa will eventually just be celebrated because it's celebrated. So sometimes people ask, since it was an activist holiday, it was created, back in the 60s when black people were trying to find their voices and trying to make themselves known and saying we deserve equal rights and all that. Is it still relevant today? Is it a relevant holiday? Is it going to be one of those things that fades away when everyone has equality? Right. So what I would like to do today is I would like to explain why I think it never will be something that we let go of, and we certainly shouldn't, and why it's relevant. And I'm going to start by asking a question, which is, how many of you grew up in Christian households? Okay, most people did. How many of you did not grow up in Christian households? This would be most of the children and a few of the adults. Well, I grew up in a Christian household, and I had an illustrated children's Bible, which I absolutely loved. I love Bible stories, mostly because I am a storyteller. But I do. I love stories in general. And so I'm going to tell you one of the traditional Bible stories this morning, but I have taken all the extra stuff out. So it should be pretty good. Should be safe for this group. And it is the story of Cain and Abel. Now, when I read this story when I was a kid, I only could bring to it the context I had, which is, think about all the people in the world. At the time Cain and Abel happened, there were 4 people on the entire planet. 4. And 2 of them were siblings. How many of you have a sibling? How many of you have a goody two-shoes sibling? They're the one that does everything right. They're the good kid. Anyone got one of those? How many of you are that kid? How many of you are the other kid? The kid who doesn't quite get everything right, who's still trying to figure stuff out, who breaks things and hides them. You know what I'm talking about. But again, only 4 people in the world. So it's not like there were lots of options for things to do, right? There was the raising of crops and the husbandry of animals, and that was it. If you weren't good at that, there were only 4 people in the world. You were like at the bottom. So Abel was the goody two-shoes kid. He was the kid who did everything right all the time. He was polite and kind and thrifty and brave and true, as far as we know, because the Bible doesn't really get into why he was always right or what he was like. He might have been the snottiest kid ever. We don't know. We just know he did everything right, and he pleased God because he did everything right. And if there are only 4 people in the world, and you're the kid who does everything right, you're like right up there at the top. And Cain was the other kid. Now, Cain might have been a fantastic architect, given options. But there are only 4 people in the world. And there are only 2 jobs, the raising of animals and the raising of plants. And he clearly was not at the top of that list. Not only that, it doesn't say he was lazy. It doesn't say he was like mean or disaffected. He just wasn't as good at this. And whereas Abel was always giving the best of everything, which basically meant putting it on an altar and burning it up, Cain was not like that. Cain was like, okay, so you can have the second best. We're people, we're going to eat the good stuff. But apparently God did not like that. So Abel brought the best of everything to burn up to God, and Cain brought the second best. And God accepted humbly and happily Abel's offering, and he did not accept Cain's. How many of you have ever been really, really disappointed by something? You know what I mean? It's like you're trying to do what you got to do, and it's not good enough. And instead of someone saying you tried, they go, that's not good enough. You are not good enough. Well, that's what God did. And like I said, we don't know what Cain was like from day to day. But we're given this idea that he was this terrible, horrible, jealous, mean, awful person. I don't know. But I do know that after God told him he was not good enough, his offering was not accepted, he went to go and find his brother. And they had a discussion. And we have no idea what it was like. It says he fought with his brother. How many of you have fought with your brothers and sisters? Oh, yeah. How many of you have physically fought with your brothers and sisters? How many of you have said things to your brothers and sisters that you didn't mean but sounded evil in the moment? Oh, yeah. Again, how many people are there in the world? 4. There hasn't even been anyone who died yet. Only 4 people. And what do we know about this? We know that Cain got so angry, he struck his brother. That's what they say, he struck him. Before we go any further, I just want to say, I'm not suggesting Cain was right, okay? I'm not suggesting he was justified. I'm just saying stuff happens. How many of you have ever done something that you did not expect to do, that you didn't visualize yourself doing, and you did it, and then you had that moment when everything just changed? And you just stand there in that moment of transformation, and nothing can go back, and you did it. I mean, it's not even like it was an accident. Well, it might have been an accident, but it still happened. It's like when you break that vase your mother told you not to get anywhere near, and you just looking at it broken on the ground, and you're going, now I'm going to die. Or you've been told to study for that test, and you just didn't do it, and you bomb it, and you know that you bombed it, and your grade's gonna just die, and you're gonna have to go stand in front of someone you're accountable to and deal with that. It starts in the middle of your body, doesn't it? Like right around your heart, and it just starts spreading through your entire body. And you can feel it, and it's hot. It's a kinesthetic feeling of abject oops, but like big oops. So Cain struck his brother, and a thing happened that had never happened ever in the history of the 4 people living on the planet. He took his brother's life. He couldn't stop that. Couldn't foresee it. Who could tell this would happen? But he crossed that line, and he knew he had done wrong. And he turned around, and he left the scene of the crime. And then God, who watched all of this, I have some thoughts about that, but we're not talking about that. He asks Cain the question, where is your brother? And then Cain replies with what I think is the thesis of the whole Bible. It's either a question or a declarative statement. The question, does anyone know what the question is? Say it with me if you can. Am I my brother's keeper? And the declarative is, I am not my brother's keeper. One of them is, me? Who, me? I don't think it's my job. And the other one is, it is definitely not my job. Either way, that's the answer he gives. It's not me. It's not on me. I didn't do it. But Kwanzaa definitely answers that question. Yes, you are your brother's keeper. Yes, you are. You are responsible to the people around you. In many parts of Africa and the African diaspora, there's something called the philosophy of plenty, which basically says, if I have something and you need it, and I don't share it with you, and something happens to you for lack of it, I'm responsible for that. Because I could have ameliorated your suffering and I chose not to do it. In America, in capitalist societies, we have a philosophy of scarcity, which means there isn't enough, so I should hoard as much as I can because there won't be enough. In a philosophy of plenty, everyone is fed. In a philosophy of scarcity, many people are not fed. Not because there isn't enough, but because we say there isn't enough. The whole point of Kwanzaa is to say there's enough if we share it and if each of us takes responsibility for each other. Today is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Right now I want you to think of a time over the last year where you have worked collaboratively with another person or another group to create something. Whether you went out and picked up garbage, whether you did something here at church, whether you worked with someone at school to do a project, whether you worked with someone at work to create something, whether you did with your sister to put up your Christmas tree, if that's what you did this year. What did you do over the year where you worked collaboratively? Because if I am not my brother's keeper, if I am not responsible, what's the point of this? Why are we living together at all? If we're not going to take care of each other, there's no reason for us to gather. There's no reason for us to create things. There's no reason for it. If you are not your brother's keeper, go live by yourself. In 2025, in America, we got a chance to see what it's like when we decide that some of the people who live in this country are not human enough to be here. We got a chance to see what it looks like when we decide who is worthy and who is not on a government level scale. We got a chance to see what it looks like when we decide we are not our brother's keepers. And it's horrible. And the pain it causes is ridiculous. And what Kwanzaa, the ideas behind Kwanzaa say to us is we are responsible for our families, We are responsible for our neighbors. We are responsible for our communities. We are responsible for our state. We are responsible for our country. We get the country we invest in and work for. That's all we get. I know I live in a neighborhood where there are families where if the government came, different groups to take them out, and I saw them running down the street, they'd be living in my top floor because I had the doors open this way. But the truth is, if that happened in my neighborhood, they'd never get to my house because every neighbor up and down the road would have the doors open going, come in here. That's the world I want to live in. That's the neighborhood I get to live in. What Kwanzaa says in each day, umoja, collective unity, working together, kujichagulia, we get to determine who we are. Ujama, working collectively. Ujima, using our money in our communities so that we support our communities. The Walmart people, I'm sure they're lovely people, but you know, they don't need my money. And then there's Nia, purpose, live with purpose. And then there's Kuumba, make the world a more beautiful place than when you found it, leave it more beautiful. And then of course there's Imani, having faith in each other and ourselves. Kwanzaa will not go out of style because people are each other's keepers. And I leave you with my last story this morning. It is a story many of you have heard before. It's a simple one. I actually had to learn American Sign Language to tell this story. And it's called The Lion and the Mouse. And it goes like this. Once there was a great big lion. He was the king of the savannah. And when he walked through the savannah, he wanted everyone to know how big and bad he was so that they would not bother him. When he was quiet, they were scared because he was hunting. But when he was walking, he just wanted them to get out of his way. And so he would walk through the savannah going, pum, 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 pum. I'm strong. Pum, pum, pum. I'm handsome. Pum, pum, pum. I'm bold. Pum, pum, pum. I'm the king. Pum, pum, pum. And everyone would get out of his way. Now, he liked that. He enjoyed himself. This is what he did. This is the sign language sign for strong. Do it with me. I'm strong. Pum, pum, pum. Sign language sign for handsome is you make an H and you do this. He's handsome. I'm handsome. Pum, pum, pum. Bold is this. I'm bold. Pum, pum, pum. And king, you make a K and you give yourself a sash. I'm the king. Pum, pum, pum. He loved it. And everyone else just got out of his way. Well, at one point, he had himself a day. He was sitting still, and across the way through the savannah grass came a little mouse, and she was trying to get home. And she was so busy thinking about where she was going, she wasn't looking where she was going. How many of you done that before? You will bump into stuff if you do that. And yet, she had her cheeks full of seeds. She had seeds in her little hands, little mouse hands. And she was running as fast as she could. And the lion could see she was coming right at him. She was thinking to herself, I gotta get home, I gotta get home. My children need me, my husband needs me, my grandma needs me, my aunts need me, my cousins need me. I gotta get home, I got dinner. Well, the lion was watching her come, and he thought, I better let her know that I'm here, so she doesn't get anywhere near me. And so he did his thing. I'm strong. Boom, boom, boom. I'm handsome. Boom, boom, boom. I'm bold. I'm the king. Boom, boom, boom. She still was not paying attention. She was just running. And she ran right across his paw. And you know what happens, right? He extends his claws, and he catches the mouse. And she looks up and she goes, oh my. Because she realized she has made a problem. She's got a little problem there. And the lion's like, how dare you? I'm really sorry, I'm really sorry. There she spits all the seeds out. I'm really sorry, I'm sorry. I gotta get home. I'm going to eat you. Oh, please don't eat me. Please don't eat me. I'm so small. I'm less than a mouthful. You don't want to eat me? How dare you run across my paw? I'm so sorry. Please don't eat me. Please, please. Why not? Well. If you don't eat me someday I might save you. Lion just lost it. Do you have any idea how small you are? I know I'm small, but maybe if you let me go, I could save you. There's nothing you can do. What are you going to do? I'm the king. I know you're big, and you're bold, and you're handsome, and you're the king, but someday I might save you. Well, the lion thought that was hysterical. He put his hands down, and he did not eat the mouse because he had not laughed that hard in a really long time. He felt it was worth it. And so he let her go, and she put all the seeds back in her mouth. And she picked them up in her little mouse hands, and she ran off. And he didn't even feel bad about it. He just laughed. Well, 3 weeks later, lion's going through the savannah. He just don't want to be bothered. He's doing his thing. Pow, 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 pow. I'm strong. Pow, pow, pow. I'm handsome. Pow, pow, pow. I'm bold. Pow, pow, pow. I'm the king. Pow, pow, pow. And he put his foot in a trap and slung himself up. And it was made of rope. And he was swinging back and forth up there, and he started howling and screaming. He's got his claws going. And nobody was coming to save him. And he could not save himself. And he realized as he swung there that he was about to find out what happens to lions who get caught in traps. And it couldn't be good. And then it felt like something was shaking. And he looked. Hundreds of mice were crawling up the tree. Hundreds of them. And they came across the branch, and they went down onto the trap, and they covered that trap, and they all started chewing on those ropes. And the ropes got loose, and they got thinner, and then eventually they started breaking. And as they broke, the little mice ran back up the trap, and they went down the tree, and they scattered into the savannah. And then the ropes broke, and the lion fell out of the trap. And they looked up, and there was the last little mouse, the little lady he'd let go. And she said, I know you're strong, and I know you're handsome, and I know you're bold, and I know you're the king, but you need some friends. The world is just too hard to go through by yourself. Well, as time went on, he continued to be strong and bold and handsome, and he was definitely the king. But he also found himself some family and some friends. The world is a complicated place, layered on top of layers, and you need people to get through it. So yes, to answer the question, you are your brother's keeper.
Wow. I'm so glad I got to do this twice. I got to hear Donna tell stories twice. My name is Eric Bannon, and I want to invite you to rise in body or spirit, however you're feeling, and join us in our closing hymn. I'm just going to sing the chorus one time so you can hear it, okay? And during the song, if you hear a harmony in your head, please sing it, okay? And when we're doing the verses, if you don't want to sing the verses, because there's a lot of words there, just go ooh, sing some oohs and ahs, and it'll sound like a chorus of angels, okay? You're whatever angel you choose, okay? I realize sometimes I got to remember where I am. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. Okay, everybody ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are searching, ooh, you got the... We're all on this journey that starts within. If you got a burden, come lay it on down and raise up your voices as we gather around. Sing it loud. Whomever, however you to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are joyful or you're concerned, come share your stories. The chalice flame burns. If your heart is broken, you've been disowned. Come join our circle and turn off your phones. Who you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are running, come on, ooh, you got the right, ooh, to seek sanctuary, guided by the light, 'cause we are our brother's keepers. If you hear that calling, come join the fight. Marching for justice, candles lit in the night. Sing it loud. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you here. You are welcome here. Okay, just that last line now. Sing it loud. You are welcome here. A little louder. Come on now. Let's see. You are welcome here. Now sing it so they can hear it in Washington, D.C. Here.
Thank you so much, Donna, Eric. Can we give them some more love, please? As we end this time of worship together, may we do so with ever more love for one another, with ever more gratitude for this precious gift of life we share this very day, with ever more peace in our hearts, and with ever more hope for our own lives in this world we share. Amen.
Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in. One more time. Open the window, children. Open the window now. Open the window, children. Open the window, let the dove fly in. Open the window, let the dove fly in.